Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Xbox One controller again. After my video uploaded on the Xbox One controller teardown and repair, I got a few people messaging me and commenting saying that that wasn't their problem. They took apart their controller and found that the magnets were still in place, but their triggers were still acting as if they were being pressed or not responding to being pressed. And I didn't know that actually existed because I've only owned an Xbox One for going on a couple months now, and I've been using a wired controller. It's called Nano, and it's a really, really good controller. I recommend getting it if you're having issues with the original Xbox One controller. It is smaller, which is one thing I don't really care for, but it works flawlessly because it has the same hardware that the Xbox 360 controller had, and it's just perfect, and plus no batteries, which is one thing I like. Only downfall of it is it doesn't have a mic port, so if you're into socializing on Xbox Live, that's the only issue. But yeah, if you're having issues with that, check out the Xbox Nano controller. It's a really cool controller, a lot better than this one in my opinion. But the purpose of this video is to help people troubleshoot their controllers. I have a very easy method on how to figure out if it's the Hall effect sensor or not. From what I can tell, the Xbox One controller is more software inclined than the 360, so it could be a software glitch. I don't know. That is a possibility, but we're going to pretty much cut that troubleshooting list down a little bit with today's video. If you haven't watched my video on how to fix the Xbox One controller, if it is the magnet, I'll explain how that works right now. The Xbox One controller uses a Hall effect sensor for the triggers, and a Hall effect sensor is a transducer that changes its output voltage based on a magnetic field. So there is a magnet inside each of these triggers, and when the trigger is pushed, the magnet gets closer to the Hall effect sensor, and that pretty much tells the controller the trigger is being pressed, which it is kind of a smart way for the triggers to being, used, but I really don't think it was thought out that well, because controllers, especially Xbox controllers, they fall, you throw them on purpose. It's just a really, in my opinion, stupid idea to use a Hall effect sensor for a controller, especially when the potentiometers on 360 controllers worked so well, so I don't understand that exactly. But for this video, I'll be showing you how to troubleshoot it like I said. All you need is a multimeter if you have one. The only issue with this that I've noted is that I cannot find the exact make of the Hall effect sensors online. I found one close to it that's, I think, the same pitch and also the same pinout. So there is one close to it, but it's not the same exact one. And also, if you have no experience in soldering, especially surface mount components, it's going to be really hard for you to replace yourself. So you'll either have to seek out help from someone more experienced or just go out and buy a new controller, which I know is not the solution that a lot of people like to hear. And honestly, I don't like saying go out and buy it because I do like repairing stuff and DIY stuff, obviously. So that does suck. So let's get this guy opened up again, and we will troubleshoot. It's not really a troubleshoot video though, because this controller is perfectly fine. But I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot it if you're having issues of your own. So let's get this. Okay, so this is a up-close shot of the left trigger assembly for the Xbox One controller. On it, or within it, there is the magnet, which is right here. It's secured with a piece of heat shrink tubing by the looks of it, and probably some adhesive. Very poorly secured because they do fall off quite a bit from what I've been reading online and from what I've actually experienced. So yeah, very poor design there. Right below it is a little rubber pad that catches the magnet to prevent a lot of damage from the circuit board when the trigger is pushed. Probably not that secure, considering if you're using your controller a lot, that trigger is going to be slamming down in that same spot over and over again, so it's kind of a stupid idea there. And right here, ahead of my flathead screwdriver, is the culprit, pretty much the root of all chaos behind the Xbox One controller not working. This is the Hall effect sensor right here, this tiny surface mount 3-pin device. It has 3 pins, like I just said. It has voltage in, voltage out, and ground. The pin we're going to be looking at is voltage out. And we're also going to be looking at ground too, because we need that to measure the voltage out. So what happens, I've already tested this, I've already set up this before I even started this video. What happens is when the magnet is pushed, the voltage out lowers. So when the magnet is pushed towards the Hall effect sensor, the voltage out goes closer to ground, or closer to 1 volt rather. So that's another thing I found interesting, is that this controller would be insanely easy to rapid fire mod. All you do is short the voltage out pin to ground, probably with a resistor and the trigger presses. So if you get a pulse width modulated signal and use the transistor, you can easily create a rapid fire controller just by using that, which is something I might want to do later. I mean, I don't really play a lot of Call of Duty anymore, so I'm not really interested in rapid fire anymore, but that is interesting, so I might try it out later. But anyways, not the point of the video. So right now I'm going to hook up a power supply, probably micro USB, and do some measurements with my multimeter, and I'll show you what to look for. So let's get that part going. Okay, so I went ahead and soldered a wire to the Hall effect sensors to make showing how it works a lot easier, not only for you but for me, because if I'm in there probing, I can't push the trigger and then not be able to see the multimeter screen itself. So it's a lot easier for this setup. So it was kind of hard to solder to it, not going to lie, the solder would not flow, but it works. So we're on the right trigger, like I said. This wire right here is the voltage out on the Hall effect sensor going to my multimeter's positive lead, and I just grounded it with this yellow gator clip to my negative lead on my multimeter, so it's grounded. And what we're reading right now is 0.25 volts. It keeps fluctuating between 0.24 and 0.25, so I'm just going to go ahead and say 0.25. And when the magnet or the trigger is pushed, the voltage will decrease. Now, before I show that working, here is a little rough sketch of the right trigger's Hall effect sensor and its pinout, and the left trigger's Hall effect sensors and its pinout. Right now we're focusing on the right trigger, which is on the left because it's upside down, but when it's upside right, it's right trigger. We're focusing on right here. The pin by itself is ground. Voltage out is the pin I'm tapped into right now, and voltage in I don't have to worry about because I don't need to. So yeah, we're going to show the voltage dropping right now when I push the trigger. You can see it drops down to 0.6. And when the magnet is slowly let go, it rises back up to 0.25. So that's how the controller knows the trigger is being pressed. And again, this video really wasn't meant to troubleshoot or repair a lot of your guys' issues out there. This is just to show you what you can look for if your trigger is malfunctioning or not working or whatever. So this is just what this video is for, is to just show you what voltages to look for and where to look for them at. So hypothetically, if this controller wasn't working, say the trigger was acting as if it was being pushed, what I would look for is a low voltage on this pin. Say like if I went and probed it and I got a 0.5 volts or whatever, that would be the Hall effect sensor not working. Also, another thing to look for is if the trigger is not responding at all, would be to look for a voltage input on the Hall effect sensor. If there's no voltage input, Hall effect sensor could be broken as well. So pretty much all of it points back to the Hall effect sensor. One thing I did not even notice is if you actually push your triggers too hard, you could actually damage the circuit board. So that could be a possibility, not entirely sure. But again, this video was just meant to show you what to look for if you're having issues out there. I'd be glad to help people a little bit more if they wanted to message me or whatnot. I'd be glad to help out as much as I can, but hopefully this video has helped you get a better understanding of Hall effect sensors, the Xbox One controller, how it uses them, and hopefully to further your troubleshooting horizon, I guess, so you can troubleshoot a little bit better and determine whether or not it's your Hall effect sensor or something else. Hopefully it's helped a little bit. If not, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like. I got a few more projects coming. One of which I'm very excited about. It's a PS3 controller project that I'm going to be modding for my phone. I recently, this is off topic, so if you want to stop watching now, go for it, but I'm going to tell you about it. I recently just got my phone battery. I've been waiting for about a month for this battery to come in the mail because a shipping issue, and that's pretty much it. This person I bought it from, or the site I bought it from, sent me the wrong battery for the wrong phone, so I had to send that one back and get my one. So it took about almost an entire month, 23 days I think it was, it took. But I have a Galaxy Note 2. I know the Note 5 just came out, but I really love this phone. I don't need don't see the need for an upgrade quite yet until this one breaks. But I just bought this gigantic ass battery for it, and I love it. It's a 9.3 amp hour battery, and it runs my phone forever. Like, let's see, I unplugged my phone at, I think it was 10 p.m., or 10 a.m. rather, and it's still at 80%, so I love this battery. So the idea that I want, or the project that I want to do for this, is take a PS3 controller, split it in half, and put one side of the controller on this side of the phone and the other side of the controller on this side of the phone. So I kind of have like a PSP type setup, because there's a few games that are out on Google Play right now that I like playing on my phone, but I need a controller for them because it sucks with touchscreen. There's Grand Theft Auto, so there's 3 Grand Theft Auto games out right now. I own 2 of them on my phone. Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San Andreas. Vice City kind of sucks though because the controller mapping isn't right. San Andreas though, it recognizes the PS3 controller with the 6-axis app I have, and it allows me to play perfectly with that. Also, there is Max Payne, which is one of my favorite games. One of the earlier Max Paynes for PS2, and there is Tomb Raider, which is really, really cool that they released that game for Android. And I love playing all of them, plus there's emulators and whatnot out there, so a controller hack like that would come in handy. Also, I'm going to add a hub to it so I can plug in a flash drive and all that fun stuff. So, if that interests you, subscribe. Again, thanks for watching this video. Hope it helps.